Well, the property tax system is a great way to highlight the role that the comptroller can play to really protect Texas taxpayers, because we have a big problem in our property tax system. It's a loophole. It's a gaping loophole, and it's as follows. If you are a homeowner or you own a small business and you get your appraisal in the mail, which is what the tax is based on, is your market value as determined on the first of every year, there's not that much that you can do about your appraisal. You can go and argue that it's too high and you might get a little bit of relief, but there's not that much that you can do as a practical matter. Whereas, if you own a large commercial or industrial property with millions of tax dollars at stake, you can hire a legal team, spend millions of dollars, and you can shake down that appraisal district because there's loopholes in the appeals process. Those loopholes they're available to everybody, but it only works for the owners of large commercial and industrial properties, and they're using it. That loophole, they've driven a truck through it, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse. If you go all the way back to 2006, the central appraisal districts, the largest central appraisal districts in the state, looked at the magnitude of this problem, and they calculated for us that's roughly $4 billion of underpaid taxes every year by the owners of the commercial and industrial properties. And you understand that because you think of it as all flowing into the same pot, which is the right way to think of it, because the interconnectedness of our budget, if it all flows into the same pot and one class of asset holders are paying $4 billion less than they're supposed to, then the rest of us are paying $4 billion more than we're supposed to. And it is patently unfair to homeowners and owners of small businesses who can't. So we need to close those loopholes. And they're known to everyone. And the legislature has been presented with legislation many, many times over many, many years, Democrats and Republicans alike. And when it goes in the legislature, it always dies. It never goes to the next level. We don't close these loopholes. And why is that? That's because that the people who are benefiting from these loopholes write huge checks to politicians. Now here's where the comptroller comes in. I can be fiercely independent and call to people's attention where these bills stand and who's in what committee, and that's going to get people's attention, and they're going to see to it that their legislators do the right thing, and that's how democracy is supposed to work. Now, last thing I'll say is the last time this came up for repair, as it were, was in the last legislative session, and the committee where the legislation landed was Senator Hager. That's my opponent. What did he do? Same as the rest, let it die in his committee. Didn't work on the problem. And that's because the people who are benefiting from this loophole came up and wrote them big checks. And see, therein lies the problem. And that's why when I say we take politics completely out of it and put competence into it, this comptroller is in a position to solve those problems. That's what we need in a comptroller.